Hi everyone, glad to have you on board again today. First, we're gonna have to make a quick introduction to that video, just reminding you that I will be off for some vacations until Thursday. So I'm leaving at midday on Thursday, so there might be some timing to record the videos, but I'm not gonna engage into doing this. So let's say that I'll be doing this until Wednesday and then get into vacations. I'm leaving to Canada and I'll be having a trip around Montreal, Quebec and Trois-Rivières. So for those who want to meet me out there, with a great pleasure to do it. We can talk about this right in Discord. I've been making a channel for those who are speaking French. So this is one we're calling Meeting Quebec. But it's in the French section out there. For those who don't speak French, you won't have access to this. But you can simply reach out to me by sending a private message. You just basically right-click my name in here and say send a message to talk to me in private if you want to meet. Otherwise, you also have the email option, contact@pro-indicator.com. You can reach out there as well if you want to meet. We'll obviously organize a meeting, but I'll have to talk about that in further details eventually throughout Twitter or eventually Telegram or whatever. So for those who want to meet us out there, it's just a few hours away from New York, and well, it requires quite some driving to get out there. Let's be straightforward in here. But if you want to make it, I'll be pretty happy to see you guys in person and shake hands. To those who live out there, I'm pretty much going to visit the country, so I always say it that way. I mean, the guys who live out there pretty much know the country much better than I will ever do. So if you want to share knowledge, this is to me what's the most valuable out there. I'm sharing my knowledge to you guys every day for free. So those who want to make me having a trip out there and make me visit their beautiful country, I'll be pretty damn happy to do it with you guys. So if you want to share with me, I'll be happy to have it, and I'll be there to share what I have to share with you. So would be really happy to meet in persons for those who have that kind of mindset. So that being said, we're going to go straight forward to the graphics, and starting as usual with the cryptocurrencies. We've got not that much to talk about. The market is kind of dead, and that's not a bad sign actually. It's just that we're starting to get back into making daily candles, narrow daily candle ranges. And as long as we will remain below the in those two boundaries, let's consider this the latest valid resistance. That's the one we're still having on higher pricings. We've been testing those ones already. So this is where we've got the double bearish, and this is double bearish in here. Okay, double bearish, so it's kind of a double top. So I've got double resistance, considering about to the double bottom we've got in here. Not necessarily a double bottom, but this is the current bottom at least. If we just use the range strategy out there, we can see that we're still selling the red area and buying the blue. So I would pretty much be in the seller's camp in a short-term scenario, but don't be surprised if we have some outburst. I'll say that we could just go there trying to fuck up some stop losses. But probably not going to go much higher than that. So let's say until we make candle closes below above 7,300, there's nothing to worry about. The market remains more bearish than bullish to me, but the only other option is simply that for us to have a rangy market in a desert crossing phase, and in that case we'll probably just die out there between that support and those resistances, and we'll just have a market just doing nothing. So two options to me: either we fall apart or we just die out there. Option number 3 will obviously be to be a bullish market, but I don't see that much of opportunities to be that way. At least I wouldn't bet on this, which means if the market is breaking resistances, I'm not going to be buying Bitcoins at those prices. So I'm either waiting to have the market dying or going lower to act. Otherwise, I'll just watch and see. It's a wait and see kind of approach right now. Okay. And it goes the same in Ethereums and Ripple, despite the fact that in the Ethereums we've been reaching out to very interesting long-term prices, which made me trigger the button out there. So I've been buying Ethereums, you know about that. I'm still waiting to get into Bitcoins. As for now, the prices not necessarily interesting in the long run to me. At least I would like to have lower prices. I'm ready to buy Bitcoins, but I don't want to do it right now because I think I still could be able to have some slightly better prices, and I decided I should wait for those to eventually come out at the risk of just being out. It's simple as that. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'll just be out, and I will have either pretty expensive Bitcoins or no Bitcoins. Okay, so that's the way it is. If it's the bull side that is about to be taken by the market, I'll just be out of this because I don't want to be in that buying at those prices. All right, so we're done with cryptocurrencies. We're going to have a look at the economic calendar for the upcoming week. So it's a day off for the UK, but it's going to be an interesting day tomorrow. We'll talk with additions on the inflation report, and that could be a game changer. So we're going to have a look at GBP, consumers' confidence, not going to be too big of a game changer. On Wednesday, we'll have GDP of Q2. We'll see if the number is revised or not. So it's going to be the final Q2 GDP. We'll see about that. The market doesn't expect to have much of a change out there. I don't either. But we're going to have the oil stocks. It's going to be interesting out there. And eventually the home sales promises. That could be interesting as the market is expecting contraction out there. So it could be a game changer today on Wednesday on the afternoon between 4 to 4:30 p.m. On my local time frame. So it's going to be 9 a.m. No, 10 a.m. if I'm right. No, yes, it's 10 and 10:30 in US time zone. So yes, this could be a catalyst, and rest of the week isn't that interesting. PCE could be interesting because I still don't figure out what we could have. How is that possible for us to have 2% inflation and 4% GDP? Something's obviously wrong in here. One of those two is obviously lying. I just don't know which one, but I pretty damn bet on both. I think the inflation is higher and the GDP is lower, and both are basically setting to 3%, which means the Fed is forecasting 2%, which is too low on inflation, and is forecasting 3.5% on GDP, which is too high. So I think the Fed will have to adjust, but we'll have to deal with it the next year probably, or later that year. And Friday we're gonna have Eurozone inflation, but I think this is pretty well priced, so don't expect that much of a change out there. It's pretty damn what we have right now. And we could have yes, PMI in China could be interesting during Thursday to Friday night. So having a look at this regarding the chart, and you do it quick, we're going to start with US oil. I think US oil is interesting right now. Either bullish or bearish is hard to tell. All I know is that for now the momentum remained bullish. We created some kind of slightly divergence in here. We're making new lows, so we don't want to there was a resistance out there. We try to work it out on the bullish side. So either this is just a trap, which I don't think is possible at that point. I think we're just creating the magic pattern in which we're going to make a lower momentum, not making lower low. As you can see, we're going to go there, probably going to find some bulls in that support, making another push that is going to be the magic pattern triggering in the next top. So the next market top probably going to be the good one to me, but for now still requires a lot of patience. I'm searching for a double signal in that big red area. So patient out there, but tomorrow could be a catalyst. Let me just double check that. No, it's not tomorrow. It's on Wednesday. So still have today and tomorrow to get into placing the price into a confident area to play that market catalyst. Euro dollar, pretty damn hard to forecast out there. I think we made a market top out there, just terminated the bullish impulse, some kind of wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should see now some kind of ABC or corrective structure at play, probably something like that. Heading back to that support, which I think is probably going to be the good one. Could go eventually to this one, but it seems a little bit less probable to me. So I'll put my I'll put odds in this one in terms of odds. So this is the way I still think, those kind of ranging, getting back to those support areas and buying out there. So it'll be a buy in here, and just gonna show you how this is. If you take that in a weekly perspective, to me the scenario is basically this. We're in a big fucking long-term range since 2008. We've had Eurozone profiting at the beginning, dollar profiting at the end, and we're gonna have right in between to terminate. So probably getting back into the dome zone area just to try to figure out what the next move will be. So this is why I'm thinking buying the blue area right now to get into crossing the dome area and trying to reach out to maximum that area. Eventually even higher would be possible in the end, but for now it's still at least heading there, and we'll see if there's an option to go to higher levels in the end. We've got the GBP, pretty hard to forecast at that point. If we have a look at this one in the daily chart time frame, you can very well see that we're right below support, we're above supports and below resistances. We're kind of right in between, ready for the next market catalyst. It's a 50-50% move, so it's really impossible to go leverage on here on the GBP for now. Still have to wait for that catalyst. Either we're going to push us lower, making lower lows, or we're going to have to restore to return prices back into the previous range, which means just like the euro dollar, we're going to have to trade those prices and basically going to cross the dome area and get right into the possible red out there, and just reinstall prices in the range just like the euro will or has already started to do. Regarding EURJPY, I've been selling later last week, so I'm still remaining a seller out there. I'm just trying to figure out when I'll be making the switch from euro yen to USD yen, in which I think there is a lot more potential, because in terms of EURJPY, I'll be taking entirely my profits near there, which is approximately 6 to 7% gain, expected gains. So once again, no magic. I don't know the future. I don't know if we're gonna get there. This is just the expected reward I have for those potential bearish trades, and which is translating on the USD JPY to potentially be more like a 15%, or at least going there, but I probably see us going down there. So there's a potential up to 15% in USD JPY, where EURJPY simply has a 7%. So this is why I rather like to put my money out on the dollar versus the yen rather than the euro, but I'll just have to make myself a switch to get there. So it's for now basically waiting a bit, because I think the dollar could just push a little bit higher, reaching out to that red area once again, just going there, and then we're gonna have to collapse. This is what I care about. In a 15-minute short time frame in here, doesn't have much clues. We've got double bullish, potential double bullish on 2 hour, but we don't have the momentum, we don't have the sine wave confirmation at that point, which means we could very well go slightly lower, as this is no technical price area. So we could go lower, we could go higher. All I care about right now is that this is not possible to sell the USD JPY, so I'm basically waiting to have something to trade with out there to put some additional money. AUDNZD has been trading very low last week, had some problems, political problems, prime minister problems, to be straightforward in here. I don't know if that breakdown is to be needs to be validated or not. Theoretically it should be, as we reached out to breaking down the target, but I don't really necessarily see it that way. If we just take this like that, we reached out to the target. But if you consider this as an extension of that big range, I mean, sine wave hasn't been looking that far in history. Sine wave's been looking for and taking that low, and probably even this one as a reference. But if you take this one, as you can see, we perfectly reached out to the target, which leads me to believe that we could have just a big fucking range out there, ranging that price area from which I think we're going to go to extract bullish. So I consider that double bearish. So I'm going to respect the strategy out there. We've got double bearish plus price confirmation out there. I want to see those prices regained by the bulls ASAP to make sure that this clearly is a range breakout instead of a trend breakout. If for some reasons the price were to go lower, I would be a little bit more concerned, but for now I remain speculative, patient, wait and see. We'll have to talk about this in the future. This is in the watch list, don't anticipate too much. Just wait for the price to give you the answer. It's basically, as I said, either we're going to go make a new low or we're going to restore the price we try to break. USD CNH went pretty damn great earlier last week. Has been shorting out there, and the market just collapsed at the end of that week, closing at the low. So right now we've got double taking profit pattern, suggests we might have some retracement out there, kind of trying to get back to the current higher pricings, but we're mostly going to get lower afterwards because it's just such the taking profit pattern. I expect the price to go lower. USD MXN just trying to work to wait out there. It's just fucking noisy and impossible to read, so just damn waiting to know if that exit pattern is enough to trigger price to be bullish and go higher, reaching out the second area, or if the exit pattern is not enough, the price is going to break it down, and if we go there, obviously are going to get into creating some more bearishness. Okay, don't want to go there. If we go there, we're going to have a bearish breakdown attempt, so we'll see about that. But if we go there, we'll have a sine wave target, and that will be interesting to trade. Probably we're going to anticipate that target. If we go there, it's going to be high to low in that case, which forecasts us with the price right down the bottom. So if we go there and if we trigger the breakdown, target will be right down the bottom, in which we could be taking profits. So there's a breakout, possible breakout trade. If we go there, just to enter the breakdown, get the target, take the profit, and try to let some money in there for eventually a follow through trend, because as I said, USD MXN to me is bearish, so if we're getting out there, it's an opportunity for the bears to take over. If we fail, it's just going to be a flat consolidation, A, B, C, and we're just going to, but at that point I think we need to buy. Okay, so if we're getting there, probably a range breakout. You don't want to target lower. We've had an exit pattern. Generally, it's not the kind of trend, not the kind of signals that is coming right before trend. So exit is not necessarily a sign that the bear's in control. More likely that we're trying to range in there, and the range is hard to forecast. This is basically it for the forex market. I'm going to talk about gold and silver. Those two has been making hell of a week. So we've finally have some bullish wick on the gold, closing nearly at the highs after a lower shadow candle. So consider this as a range signal until we manage to make a bullish engulfing. So if the bears want to still have some control out there, they will sell early that week. If not, then we'll have to break down the 12,000s, the 1200s, and we'll probably gonna make the weekly bullish engulfing that will just basically tells we're out of this and that the bulls are now in control, and we'll make crazy bullish weeks right after the other, just like how stupid we've been going to the downside, which was go stupid to the upside. You've been warned about this one. You know I've been buying gold and silver to the long run, so it's a buy and hold out there. No leverage for now, but I still forecast the price to go fucking higher than what we're currently doing. It's just right now we've got a choice to make. Either we sell to get to range the price before being bullish, or we just go bullish right now, and there's no longer bears in that market. Regarding the stock fucking market, we still have the same confluence areas, which means low rates, low interest rates, low VIX, junk bonds bought, which means the market is risk on. Yet we can see that the market is buying gold and some risky assets just to hedge the positions, but the stock market wants to go higher. Wall Street's just taking risks no matter what, no matter how. They're thinking everything is just going to fade. The geopolitical risk, the economic war, the currency war, all of this is considered to be priced in, which is obviously not the case, but this is how Wall Street sees things, and you don't want to fight them. So just let them do their shit. As long as they can do it, they'll have to pay for it at some point. All I know is that I choose to buy the Russell, among others, leading me to believe that if there was any bullish market out there, is the bullish market I want to pay is the small caps, the one that have a true benefit from the tax plan, and that justifies somehow some price risings. The fact is that also the Russell is not necessarily that big of a fucking bubble. I mean, this is just a beautiful trend, not overextended. It's just a very nice trend, and I think if something is about to push the US market longer for a long run, that's only the Russell. This is where the damn fucking potential is, and where if I'm ready to put some money into the bull side, I'm ready to do it. Buying some damn fucking Apple or Dow Jones or NASDAQ, buying all those fucking stocks, this is nothing close to what I want to buy. These are pretty damn overpriced. Yes, also the Russell might be, but in terms of trend building, if you compare this to, let's just take the big caps, but the SPX. So if we just get to compare this with the SPX, fuck it. Okay, if we just take that and compare this to the SPX, as you can see, we've got different things. So not here, okay, consider it that way, okay? You can really print those two to be similar right there, and this is where things have started to change. In terms of trends, here we got exuberance that we don't have out there. We nearly don't have it. This is the reason why we've got to catch up right now on the Russell. But I don't necessarily think the Russell is going to go crazy high and breaking resistances and things like that. We clearly have a resistance building out there. Don't know if this is the trend line that is. No, it isn't. But we obviously have one. Probably this one. Yes, that's this one. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a trend line in here. The market is trading this one. So I forecast us to just reach out to that trend line, potentially trying a bullish breakout, but we're basically on the upper boundaries of an up channel, which means it can last long. We can make a multiple weeks highs in here until we get to the downside and we're tracing back to that trend channel, which I think that whenever we'll do it, will be the last time. So whenever we fail, we're going to first go there, making a pullback and then breaking it down. So I mostly think that whenever we'll exit that uptrend, short-term, mid-term uptrend, whenever we'll terminate this one, probably going to make the market top. So we're going to let Wall Street do it. We're going to let them find the gas they want to find just to get to make historical highs to historical highs to historical highs for a bit. And whenever we'll have the next bearish market catalyst, which is probably going to be the next bearish seasonality, which is October and the things we've already talked about. That heading into October, the market is generally less confident, more about doubts and looking back in the glass to see what we've done so far and questioning the bull runs. So if we start questioning that bull run, problems are ahead, because there are lots of divergences that we've been pulling out to get out there, which means we're going to have to pay for those, and that stock market, that bullish stock market, isn't that rational. It's more irrational than rational. But as you know, you don't trade just because of this. You need to have signals as well. We do have signals, to be really clear out there. We did have signals suggesting we should sell. This is the reason why I've been shorting recently. But the market proven me wrong. Even if we had bearish signals, the market wanted to go higher, and I had to surrender stop losses in those cases. So I did. I've been giving my stop losses on the NASDAQ. It was break-even stop losses. I got stopped out there. Basically, at my enterprise, I got short in here, short in there. I had average return price out there, just got stopped out. So no gain to take on the NASDAQ, but basically just taking that gain on the Russell to compensate somehow. I'm not buying anything else that I don't want, because I don't want. I'm not buying the euro area, even though there is some potential to make out there. Could be a breakout gap. I don't necessarily know about this one. I think if there is something to be bought, this is clearly this. But I don't want to be in that boat for now. It's too dangerous. So I'm not buying anything. I'm not selling anything anymore. It's just I'm not doing anything regarding equities. This is just bullshit and too risky to get in. So that might be a bad choice I'm doing out there, but to me, equities is not something I want to have in portfolio. Just instead of a few ones of those, and I'm going to be clearly showing this before terminating that show. So Tesla, I wanted to show Tesla right here, but apparently I have a problem, as the fact that we've got Elon Musk pulling out and abandoning the buyout, which means Tesla is falling 5%, as they said. So we're going to see this, but I think TSLA, yes, it's trading 4.5% to the downside. It's not that big of a deal, actually. It's just going down there, so it's not end of the world. Remember that we're in the down area, so you don't want to trade in there unless shorting out there and buying out there. So just don't do anything in here. Actually, yes, I might change my scenario a deal. So this was the previous down zone, but when we were in the context of the psychological pattern of Elon Musk, remember what I've been saying, that pattern will remain activated as long as Elon Musk will remain into the expected psychology, which will be playing the dip game with the short sellers. In which it will keep on thinking the way it was, which means I want to fuck you no matter how, no matter what. I want to be right and I want you to be wrong, which is no longer the case. I mean, now Musk pulling out with that thing shows one thing: he was wrong and he accepts that, and that is not a sign of stupidness. It might be a narcissist. I don't really change my mind on this. But it proven to me is an intelligent narcissist, which means he's about to get out before it gets ugly. It kind of figured out that it had to step back instead of moving forward forever, no matter what. So the pattern is not valid anymore. So just to be straightforward in here, the targets I've been showing recently on Tesla no longer at play. I'm no longer chasing them. All I'm chasing right now is just a pullback. I remain bearish in Tesla, no matter what. I mean, Musk or no Musk. Musk was just basically, sorry about that. I would have extended my targets because of Musk. First of all, I've been reaching out that price for a long time, and I still do. I still think we're going to go out there for a target between $220 to $180, but not necessarily going to go lower than that. Maybe just going slightly lower to fuck some stop losses out there, but that's all we can do. I'm not forecasting to go lower than that, so as a bear, I'll just take my profit in that area, and eventually even considering making some buying entries out there. The prices are interesting. Once again, Tesla is nothing close to something that's worth a zero either. It's just that if you want to buy it, you want to do it at decent prices. Apple, totally stupid. We're just going to let that shit go as high as it wants. But whenever the thing will fail, you want to be in the boat, in the bearish boat. So it's basically let the dumps go higher, let the trade printing stupid prices, and then reverse that whenever the time will come. That time obviously isn't right now. We're waiting either for a bearish catalyst or a sign that the volume is dropping, which is not the case at the current times. So wait the damn, wait for this to come. Right now is not the timing. Google, I don't care. Facebook, no more. Nvidia, I've been stopped out last week because of the earnings, great earnings release, plus the new products and things like that. So basically waiting now. Nvidia is nothing I want to sell. It's just the market is making historical highs, and I don't want to be selling this. I don't know if we're just going to hold that bullish trend channel, if we're going to outburst it by a bullish breakout. We had signals of a breakout attempt, which leads us right here, and we'll see how to deal with that area. Either it's going to be remaining bullish for an extended period of time, or just finding some bears again and retracing back to the downward areas of that channel. I really don't know, and I don't want to be fighting this. So I'm just out on Nvidia. Clearly don't want to buy this at current prices. It's out of context to me. So it's basically waiting right now to see if I have further bearish signals later on track, but not right now. Netflix I don't care about, Amazon not at all, Twitter is not of my concern, Boeing I'm just basically waiting to see if this thing is about to collapse or not. We've got great danger out there, but we'll see how it plays out. I mean, Wall Street would just basically could very well try to make this thing work out. For now, still seems like a fucking mess to me. Something that is unable to read, and we'll see. Okay, as I said, either we break resistances or we break support. What happens out there is really nothing that you can forecast. Basically a 50-50. And finally, General Electrics. Remaining a buyer out there, it just requires an additional patience, maybe a couple more months to get that asset to truly reverse bullish. As for now, we might just be waiting for additional informations on General Electrics, but we're building a long-term bottom out there. It's just going to require additional amount of time, but all those prices are definitely prices you want to buy and hold. So this is a buy and hold, so no leverage, a lot of patience required. As I said, we've got multiple mindsets into trading. This one is a very particular one. Really consider this trade as a buy and hold and trade accordingly, just like I've been doing in Ethereum. So I've been buying very low leveraged. I'm just waiting for and expecting this to take a month to reverse, but whenever we'll get into reverse, this is where I'll get into putting some more money in. But for now, it has to remain highly speculative. I could be just wrong and buying on the wrong asset, which means I'll just have to take a loss. So I'm aware of this. I'm not going to release the gains. It's just I'm not going to release the calls, which means I'm ready to go all the way down to zero or there. It's a binary choice. Either we go there and I validate the trade and I double the revenue, or we go down there, I lose it all, and that's how it is. I'm going to take your questions right now. I'm going to leave you guys on there. And remind you to that if you want to show up in Canada, I'll be pretty damn happy to see you guys. So sorry, I'm gonna have to switch to English in there. Yes, so I've read that comment earlier. I'm gonna finish on this one, and yes, I've been changing the dates. I'm sorry I was wrong. So now, talking about you, Leo, I'm gonna talk to you personally out there. So it's not concerning anyone else than just you and me, but I'm gonna do it public anyway. I've been reading your message earlier. I feel a lot of emotions out there, out from this. You've been truly open-hearted speaking out there, but I think that's somehow a problem anyway, because when it comes down to moving you and your son and your wife to another country simply because you're thinking you're overwhelmed by your current country, doesn't seem to be like a good choice to me. Yes, things might be ugly out there or not really pleasant to you, but the problem is you might be just feel overwhelmed by just problems you shouldn't be concerned about. I mean, lots of people borrow lots of money to buy the $1 billion homes out there. What the fuck do you care? It's not of your problem, none of your business. All you should care about is taking care of your wife and son and enjoying life. I mean, what others are doing should not be nothing you should concern about. I mean, they've been doing stupid choices, they'll have to pay for it, not necessarily you. And you shouldn't worry about this. Second thing, I mean, you're looking at the world's problems and you're like, you're bearing it into your own shoulders. It's not how it works. I mean, knowing that the world is shit is like just having sense, actually. It's making sense. And I think you're right. But the problem is that you shouldn't let your life, you shouldn't let that feeling lead your life, okay? These are bad feelings. You should have them, but you should balance them, okay? You shouldn't be just a depressed person because things that happens out there are depressing. You should not be there. You should be a happy person, just a balanced person. This is the way you should forecast to be yourself. This is the way I forecast to be, and I want to get myself into. I could be sounding like a pessimistic person sometimes, and most of my friends think I am. Just like you do, I'm aware of things that don't do great in that world. The thing that we just fucked up the planet. That it might be already too late to change things, and that ugly fucking things are about to come in the next fucking years. Just because we've been messing around with the climate, messing around the oceans, messing around too damn many things just for the sake of that and purpose of that fucking motherfucking forever growth. I mean, it's just a damn fucking capitalistic dream, which is going to be paid for, and we're going to pay this at the cost of the planet eventually. And that's not something that's depressing, okay? But now you just got to move out there, just drink a beer with your friends, enjoy some nice time, and life is not just one of those two. Life is just combining those two. Life is just very pleasant moments with very depressing moments as well. And you're just going to embrace everything instead of just focusing on one of those two. And I think in your message, if I had to say something out there, I don't know you, I've never met you, but I can tell that from what you just said. You're bearing too much problem into your own shoulders, and this is not something you should care about, okay? What happens in the rest of the world is obviously the rest of the world. Being aware of it is what you should do if you want to be a truly fulfilled human being, okay? Those who just don't worry about the problems and enjoy the grades, okay? Like literally 90% of the people out there are just there, fuck up, man, you should just enjoy life instead of thinking about problems. You know what I say to those guys? Fuck you. I mean, if you want to be happy, but just please don't fuck up the planet in between. That's how it is. I mean, we're going to pay for those fuckers, but I'd rather like to be aware of this, okay? I know it could be painful, but you are a much better person than they are, okay? Because you are a more complete person. You see the bright, and you also see the darkness. And I think the truth is right in between. It's not just thinking bright is always there and hiding the darkness, or just surrendering to darkness and thinking the bright will never be there. It's just, don't see this as a binary choice. It really is. There's a lot of gradient out there, a lot of shades, and you need to go into that shading area. So don't go too negative. Don't move your son and wife just because you think this is too much to handle. If dirty things had to come in the next following years, and I think this is highly probable, you more likely want to be with the people you like. Meaning your friends and families. We're going to need to help each other out there. If things get to be ugly, I mean, helping each other will be pretty much the last thing we'll have to make us hold things together. Okay? Helping each other, rebuilding what might have been destroyed or things like that. This is where we'll get to give a meaning to life. Okay, so get the meaning to your life by not just living out there and thinking that that's the easiest choice, to thinking that things are going to be ugly, so you'll be leaving. Fuck it, man. Just stand up there, be a man, and just, if ugly things shows up, then just help other to get away with it, and they'll help you to get away with yours. This is the only way we have out there. Just instead of thinking personal and thinking just for your own fucking ass, just think global, because you have a global vision of the world. But the negative global vision is not something that should take your entire mind. Think at great things. I mean, being depressed is obviously normal. If you're currently depressed, then go show some fucking shrink. It's not a problem to be showing a shrink. I mean, if you think you're too depressed to have clear thoughts, go talk to someone. Really, I'm sorry. I may have gone a little bit too far in here just because of your message out there, and I mean just way beyond the lines, acceptable lines. But if I got it to the right side, I think that's the only advices I can get to you. Okay, so now that being said, I hope that those who live in Canada will be pretty happy to share life and enjoy some life pleasure with you guys out there, and be happy to discover your very nice country. And just to set things straight, we're not gonna spend the entire days right into Montreal. I just really want to go out there. And those who might want to share that with me and show me their beautiful outside country, outside of Montreal, I'm pretty happy to do it. So you know how to join me, to contact me if you want to make this work. Otherwise, I wish you guys a pleasant week, and see you tomorrow.